Hello everyone, this is Akira. This is Megumi. Thank you very much for joining us today for another episode of Noodle events. And so we're talking about the micro noodle factory that you can start at a smallest scale, right? And then there's been like a lot of cost rising. Like we've been seeing like a lot of like cost, like a lot of things like increasing costs. And then like we've seen like, and there are a lot of people like foreseeing like, okay, there's gonna be like big recession coming, right? But at Yamato, like we are not that well, no, we are worried about it, of course, but like we are kind of hoping that like, it's gonna go like a better way for us because we've seen historically when a recession comes, when like in economic downturns, noodle business like tends to do better. The like restaurants like ramen shops tend to do better because basically the noodles are like people most of us like look for something delicious but like a lot of cost, right? And the noodles like noodle business give us exactly that, right? And then so that may be the reason why like we've seen noodle business like udon shops, ramen shops like doing better in this economic downturn like Lehman shock and then other big recessions that like we've seen. We saw all these like noodle shops like rising and then growing, right? So we are hoping that like this big recession is gonna give us a boost in terms of growth, right, in this noodle business. So we're talking about especially like micro noodle factory, at the smallest scale. So micro noodle factory, I mean this today's event like with the Richmond Gold One, right? This may be the smallest machine that we can offer, right? And then so I'm just going to talk about like five benefits that like this micronode factory with the Richmond Gold One will bring us to this business, right? And then we're going to show you guys, exactly how this piece of equipment can do that for our business. So first of all, like flexibility, right? Number one, flexibility. So flexibility is very important, like in micro noodles factory, because micro, small, right? And then factory kind of indicates like something big, right? So we can start small and then grow our business into really big factory, right? With a Richmond Gold One and then other equipment. But flexibility, we're starting up. It's very important because we are dealing with small businesses, like kind of local restaurants that are not like specialized in serving noodles, but like these restaurants may want, like may need, premium quality noodles, like maybe like 30 portions, 40 portions a day, right? So, we can serve this type of customer and with a small meal batch that we can do. For example, like 4 kilograms of solid ingredients, right? So that would give us like maybe 30 to 40 piece of noodles, right? So the small batch, then we can go big, like in a 10, right? With in case of like Richmond Gold, maximum like per batch. So, but with if you are doing, big factory, you have to do a small medium batch, maybe 20 kilo, like 30 kilo. You have to make exactly the same noodles, like for 300, like 500 servings, per batch. That would give us like flexibility, right? And then if you're making like okay, like doing new recipes, right? Testing like new ingredients, flours, right? And you have to do a big batch to do these tests, right? So that would yeah, that would be like real costly, right? So flexibility is like number one, and then like this flexibility gives us like kind of capacity to like do the market research, do by doing like all these tests, right? So flexibility I think is very important. Then high profitability is something that comes with this noodle micro noodle factory business. So high profit like premium quality, right? And then low production cost. Production costs, like we are talking about ingredients, which are flour, water, salt, and etc. Right? And then labor, maybe the like one of the most, biggest cost in that production, right, in the micro factory. But with the Richmond Gold One, it just requires just one person to operate, right? And then utility fees, electricity, water, right, etc. So high profitability is number two benefit that like micro factory business can bring about. Like the scalability, right? Scalability, like it's very easy to scale, so you can start maybe like 100 products, 100 servings a day, and then you can get it up to like 500 to 700 with the Richmond Goal one, and beyond that, like you may want to get upgrade your equipment to reach 1,000 mark right a day, 2,000, and then maybe 3,000 servings a day, and then like 5,000, even like 10,000 servings a day, right? So it's very easy to scale your business with this micro noodle factory concept, and no skill is required to operate this machine, right? So we designed the Mission Go One in a way that like it's very easy. That makes it like very easy for anyone with regardless of experience with skill to operate this machine to make fresh noodles at the highest quality possible, right? So no, so that kind of like lowers the labor cost as well. Like we don't have to have like highly skilled labor worker to operate this machine or operate this factory. So that kind of contributes to the lower production costs as well. And then we don't have to have like large space to operate this machine, right? I wrote like 6 square meter, which is like about like 65 square feet, right? But this is not just for to operate to just a machine, right? But like this space may include like some of the storage space as well, like refrigerator, maybe like some sink, right, to get like water supply, right? So 6 square meter or like 65 square feet is like kind of how much space we need to like kind of comfortably operate this machine and then this micro node factory that Richmond Gold one. And lastly, right? Lastly, like I think this is the most important the benefit that we want to talk about today is that like so Richmond Gold one, right? Make a variety of products. You can make variety of like in combination like when we are making these products, right? Noodles like wonton skin, like your skin, whatever you name it. Then these products are made up of like these combinations of different variables like different types of ingredients, different levels of hydration, different sizes, right, and then like thickness, width, and different shapes and other types of variables. So it's very easy to make different types of products on this machine. Just with adjustments on the like noodle recipes, like different types of recipe, right? So it's very easy, and then like types of noodles, like types of products you can make on Richmond Gold One are basically limitless, right? So this is the benefit that we wanted to talk about, and we want to like actually demonstrate, right? Actually by actually making different types of noodles in the Richmond Gold One today. So all right, so let's get started. Let's start making some noodles, and yeah, so we did some preps. Like I didn't do it, but like Megan, we did some preps before this class. So she made some dough, right? She made some doughs, different types of dough. Then and then we are going to make different types of noodles using different cutters. And so this is Richmond Gold one. It's very small. Then just takes up. Look at this room. Right? This room is like very actually quite spacious like this room, but it's probably a little bigger than 6 square meter. But this is the kind of room we are talking about. So first of all, like so we talked about this mixer a bit. Like this is a 10 kilogram mixer, and then minimum batch is 4 kilograms, right? 4 kilograms solid ingredients, right? So this is the minimum that we are doing, 4 kilograms. And then in the meantime, like we are going to add this liquid. So this is a ramen noodle. This is a type of ramen noodles we're doing. So we want to add tansui, which is like a combination of potassium carbonate, sodium carbonate, and then salt. We add it to the water. So we are making this liquid solution, and then we're adding it to the flour, right, to make ramen noodles. And so notice that like everything is like and every control is like on a touch panel, like kind of concentrated there. It's easy to set the timer. You just set the timer to 4 minutes. Then you're adding the water liquid into the this mixer lid, and then the liquid is dripping through the holes, right? Like the really small holes to be added to the flour. Then just hydrating the flour to make dough, right? So yeah, so 4 minutes, right? And then we can start like doing it like 6 minutes, right? And then while we are doing the mixer, we can start this batch, right? So we talked about like these variables, right? Hydration is one thing, and then like ingredients, right? And so hydration, like that's very important. Like, well, basically higher the hydration, the softer the noodle texture. And then by increasing the lowering the hydration, you're making the noodle texture harder. And then the harder the noodle texture, like the more thinner or like smaller the noodle size, right? And so it's kind of a balance that you want to have. And then so these kind of crumbles of like dough, right? We are feeding them into a roller. So there's a set of rollers there to laminate or like thin the dough, roll the dough into like a sheet of dough, right? And then so it's just kind of automatically feeding the dough into the roller, right? And then what it's doing is that like it's making into sheet of dough, right? Making a sheet of dough, and then it's automatic, right? It's automatic. So the conveyor, this conveyor, like dough conveyor, is like carrying the dough into the roller, right? And then we kind of like regulating the speed of a conveyor, like by looking at okay, how much dough is going into the roller, right? You can't really put it too much, right? We can't really put like too little. Otherwise, like dough like break or like dough be like kind of too compressed, right? So you wanna just feed the like right amount of dough, and then so this conveyor kind of regulates the amount by accelerating the speed or like or yeah, reducing the speed of the feeding. So the next process is to we're separating the dough into two sheets, and then combining them, right? Combining them like laminating them into one sheet through the roller. So this is how we kind of like strengthen the dough, kind of making firmer, then like sort of like working the dough to strengthen gluten structure inside the dough. So we call this process the combining process. So, so when you're sort of like widening the dough, it's like well, this machine like needs a little bit of a hand, but like the rest of it like just automatic, right? The rest is automatic, and then yeah, we're going kind of slow on purpose in this process. Um, you can control the speed of this roller, right? You can control the speed of this roller, but like at this point, like we want to go slow just to make sure that we're applying the sufficient pressure on the dough to basically develop like gluten structure inside dough, and then really making that dough texture like really firm. So we like just kind of like going really slow. You could go faster definitely, but like just make sure that like the sufficient enough pressure is like applied on the dough. So and then so next process is like kind of the same, but like um, combining the second time. Then the but like the dough's getting thicker because like we are separating the dough into two, right? And then combining them at the certain ratio, um, yeah, 30% reduction ratio, and from this point, like we want to do the dusting, right? Or the dusting. So like this automatic duster um, start dusting onto the conveyor, right? Conveyor belt. So the conveyor belt like gets dusted, and then like the dough sheet kind of moves through the moves on the conveyor belt, like kind of or getting the dusting powder onto the kind of outside of the dough, right? Outer outer surface of the dough. So outer surface will get dusted, and then that would prevent dough from sticking. So this is the second time combining. So okay, so we're done with the combining process. So what we do from this point on is just we're gonna thin it, right? We're going to thin it. Gonna thin it to the point where we are ready to cut, but like you want to thin it at 30% reduction rate. So we don't want to thin drastically because that would like damage the gluten inside dough, right? That would like basically undermine the noodle texture that like we worked so hard to develop so far, right? So you want to kind of gradually thin it like without damaging the gluten inside. And from this point on, we can go faster. So Rolla is like working very fast right now. So steam, right? And then so that was 1.5 I mean 2.0 millimeter roller gap that this dough went through, right? And then now it's going through 1.5 millimeter roller gap. Yeah, so really fast, and so it's going to 1.5, right? So 1.5, and then you just want to make sure to see. I mean, we want to know like actual thickness of the dough after it's going to 1.5, and then like so there's a gap between like actual thickness and the roll gap like we said, right? There's always the actual thickness is always bigger, right? Because it's just always bounces back like after it's going through the roll gap. So then so we know how much it bounces back, right? So we know, okay, the last thickness, like final thickness is this. So knowing, okay, how much it's going to bounce back, like, okay, so what is the roller gap like we need to set to get to the final thickness, right? So we want to know this gap between, actual thickness and the roller gap. So now it's like going through 1.0 millimeter roller gap, right? And yeah, and see like, okay, what the actual thickness is going to be like after it's going to 1.0 millimeter roller gap, right? Then okay, we know, okay, so that's how much it bounces back, right? So that's the so like what we say like bounce back thickness that well gap that we want to expect in this dough. Yeah, 1.4, 1.5. So 0.405 difference, yeah, between like actual thickness and roller gap. So and yeah, and then like there's a final thickness that we want on this dough, right? When we're cutting. So we can set the roll gap to that particular size to get the final thickness and 0.8, and then so roll gap, right? And then so we expect that final thickness to bounce back by 0.4, 5, right? Okay, so the first batch of noodles are going to be okay, so this is a cutter that we want to use, right? Like the number 26, it's pretty thin, right? 1.3 or 2, yeah, over 2 millimeter width. So though it's going into cutter, so number 26 cutter, this type of noodle is like usually used for well, it's a thick I mean thin and like hard noodles, so dry noodles, so usually used for kind of tonkotsu, kind of Hakata kind of pork bone soup, right? And this may be the most popular type of noodles in the world. I mean, the ramen noodles in the world. So it's very thin, right? It's very thin and hard, and then the the cooking time is very short because it's with the thinness. Yeah, so like depending on the preference of customer, like the cooking time maybe like it's very short, like 10 seconds, even like 20 seconds, up to a minute. So a lot of like ramen shops that are serving these type of noodles, ask the customers to yeah, to like choose, right? The cooking time, the noodles, right? Yeah, they can choose from like maybe like 10 seconds to like maybe like 1 minute, 60 seconds or something to, is it like, is it the preference for customers? Some customers like want them hard or crunchy. Some customers want them like be soft. But these happen to like get soggy pretty fast. So yeah, in terms of ingredients, like we maybe like put like something else to help these noodles like retain their textures. Then it's very easy to um, control the serving size, right? Make him short, make him longer to you know make different serving sizes. So this is the another thing that gives you like kind of flexibility, right? So this is just way too long, but yeah, yeah. So yeah, so this is just one-time noodle that you can make, right? On the rich bean gold, and then this is probably the most popular type of noodles, ramen noodles. Yeah, that you can make on this Richmond one, Richmond one. Yeah. So the next one is going to be, so there's different cutters. So so maybe prep like some dough, and then wrap them in a plastic bag, right? And then so this is kind of like form of aging too, resting, aging. Okay, it's very yellowy dough. So this kind of form like a second aging, resting that we call, right? And basically for better noodle texture, right? So this one. Okay, so number 18, and then so what we put is that like we put that kind of silicone plates in the back of the cutter to make the noodles curly, and then yeah, we hope that like it's gonna come out okay, the curly noodles. That's sort of like typical kind of curly noodle, like your yellow curly noodles that like you may see in kind of old style ramen, right? So yeah, curly making noodle curly like is one of the things that you can do with this machine, and then it's very easy to do it. You can do them by hand, but you can do also them by this type of attachment, the cutter. Hmm. This one come out. Oh, okay. 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 Yeah. So noodles coming out like so curly, and then kind of level of curliness is like you can control actually like by adjusting the position of the parts on the back of the cutter, right? So you want to make them like lightly curly, you can make them really curly, like well cup noodles or something, and then yeah, but basically like when you make like this is not really thick, kind of medium thick noodles, so. And then we also have like you can also make like very curly, but like putting chicken plates that are like thicker. And the one we put on this cutter like kind of well thinner, so that we don't give the noodles like too much pressure, right? To curled, right? So okay, and then so I think it's like enough um, curled noodles. So we want to use the rest of the dough to make something different, right? So it's another type of like kind of flexibility that you can do, right? Just use the half the dough for one type of noodles, and then like use the rest for other types of noodles. Okay. Okay, and then another how do we want to use on this um, dough is this is a round cutter. Round cutter like usually used for like kind of well kind of pasta like spaghetti. Like it basically literally like the noodles come out like with a round shape. So you know, this is a, this is not exactly pasta dough, but like um, there there are like types of ramen noodles. They're like round shaped too. So yeah, some people prefer round shaped noodles for ramen. So that's maybe it. And then number 16. So it's a little bit thicker than the previous cutter. A little bit thinner. Okay, so noodles are coming out. Yeah. Yes, that's good. Yeah, so look at that, like, you know, the cross section of noodles, like, they're round, and yeah, it's a nice shape. Yeah, some people definitely prefer round shape, but square shape like is more popular and then more common. But yeah, so the next one will be 수건. 수건. So the next one we're going to do is um, it's a different dough, like with the kind of high hydration dough, and then with the kind of whole grain needed in them, and then like you can see that like all this whole grain, kind of healthy looking whole grain, right? And so this is usually not usually, but like um, kind of popular like as a it's like a tsukemen noodle, like dipping noodles, and dipping noodles are usually pretty thick. And so we're using this kata like number 11, almost 2.6 or 2.8, 2.5, 2.7 millimeter width. So it's pretty thick because it's high hydration. Like we want to dust well. Yes, so skimming noodles is very popular in Japan, and then there are a lot of ramen shops that actually specialize in tsukemen, just serving dipping noodles only, and then there there are a few really popular tsukemen restaurants. Um, yeah, like really like world famous like restaurants, um, right? Tokyo, and then like people enjoy it, like it's dipping noodles and like um, so noodles, right? Noodles, and then like separate bowl, like kind of very thick soup, right? Dipping soup. And it's very thick and heavy. Um, yeah, and then it's yeah, like people enjoy it. Like it's very different from regular bowls ramen, but this type of noodles is usually used for tsukemen noodles. And then the portion size is very, I mean, pretty big, like compared to like noodle soup, soup noodles, regular bowl ramen noodles. Yeah, this one I'm guessing, probably one serving being like 150, 160 grams, which is pretty big for one serving of ramen. The, oh, oh. Okay, so what we want to do is that like we want to just using the same dough, right? It's the same dough, but we want to make a different shape or make a different shape. So we just what we the only thing we did was like just uh, reduce the roller gap, right? So just making thinner, and then but like using the same dough, same cutter, So the width is going to be the same, but like, thickness is going to be smaller, right? So we could probably use this type of noodles like also for tsukemen, like different types, right? Because the shapes are different. The shape is different from the previous one, right? It's basically flat, right? Kind flatter, I mean flat, and then so this gives us this different shape, like gives us like a different noodle texture, and almost like it gives us like kind of different taste, almost, right? Even when you like put it in the same soup from dipping soup, right? Because of the shape, different shapes, and different noodle texture, the the taste, like even like a soup taste, maybe like it kind of feels different. So the dish like kind of tastes different, right? So this is another thing that you can do, like another like point about like flexibility that you can do in this machine, using the same kata, using the same dough, like making different noodles, right? Okay. So the last one we want to do, right? I want to show you guys is um, well, it's not actually ramen, but using this kind of cutter, right? We can cut dough with sharp edges, sharper edges. And then while making not ramen, but like udon noodles. So ingredients are different actually. You're not using the ramen flour, using like udon flour, which is lower in protein content, right? And then hydration is a bit high, and then it's softer definitely than ramen noodles that we've made so far. And then this cutter is specifically used for this type of noodle, like ramen. I mean udon noodles, or like or maybe certain types of like Chinese noodles. So you see that like this dough is like pretty white, compared to like ramen noodles, because it doesn't have any kansui in it. So number eight, very thick, almost almost like 4 millimeter, like 3.8 or something, right? So so it's Richmond Gold One machine is like designed to make variety of ramen noodles, right? But like you see that like you can make udon noodles, right? That you can make well, pasta, different types of pasta, right? Spaghetti, fettuccine, right? And then um, you know, definitely like stir fry noodle, like soba, different types of Chinese noodles. Then wonton skin, like gyoza skin. So it's very versatile. It's very flexible, and then you can make a variety of different noodles, like different products, different skins. So yeah. Um, so these are very many beautiful udon noodles that like I'm sure like they are very good. even compared to like authentic udon noodle. So the edges are very sharp because of the kara we use, right? Then when you cook them, they going to be like kind of shape is going to be different, like after we cook them, right, in the boiling water, and then because of this kara, the surface, like cut surface, will be like very sharp. Then it's going to pick up like a lot of soup, right? Um, so they are very good noodle texture. Yeah, so this is a Richmond Gold one, and then this kind of business we could do with like micro noodle factory concept, the Richmond Gold one, and then like as you saw, like it's a very small space like we have like in this room. We've used this room like just for kind of shooting this kind of video, doing this kind of online class. So it's a very small space, and then last thing I want to show you guys, right, is that like so the scaling part, right, is that so we want to show you guys because these machines going to be shipped out very soon. So I want to show you guys before they are gone, right? So there's like Richmond Gold 2 over here, and we also have like this probably um, how you can scale like a little less like we're talking about like 10,000 servings per day. Uh, it's the production line. So it's like one line that starting from the mixer, that's 50 kilo mixer, and then conveyor, right? Conveyor that carries the dough, right? And then here's another conveyor that age or rest the dough, right? And then it's going to so the dough is like moving through this conveyor into this combining machine. So remember we did the compounding process, right? Twice. So this machine makes the two separate sheets, right, from the crumbles dough, and then combine them in this roller, right? And then finally it's going to the roller, thin it, thin it, thin it, and then the last roller to thin it, and then there's a cutter, right? Slither cutter, exact same cutter we used on that Richmond Gold one. And then here's the duster, dust the dough, I mean the noodles. And then it it gets portioned here, right? And then so the noodles coming out like on this conveyor belt. It's really fast, like you have to catch them, like So we've got like these tons of noodles like we made today. Um, so this machine can do up to like 2,000 servings a day. I mean an hour from scratch, right? So from mixer to the cutter. So this is the another, I mean the how you can scale, right? From Richmond Gold 1 to other tasks like Richmond Gold 2 maybe, and then to this, right? Yeah, so this is how you can scale the Yamato noodle machines, and then something you might want to think about doing in your micro noodle factory business. So okay, so that's that's what we had for this event, and then so we're gonna be doing like this kind of event, like probably every week. And then like if you have anything you want to learn about, you want to get to know more about, please send any in topics like you want to interested in like learning about, right? And comments or like maybe like on the form, that would be great. So thank you so much. And then so if you haven't already like please subscribe to the channel, and then like if you like this kind of event, like if you kind of topic or content, like please hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and then we hope to see you guys back in the next event. So thanks so much for watching, and then we'll see you back in the next class. So thanks so much. Bye bye.